Okay, good afternoon, everybody. My name is Natalia Uribe Castaneda. I'm going to present my research, the preliminary results of my PhD research entitled Strategies of Community Engagement in Coral Reef Restoration. I also want to highlight the incredible support that I have been having from my advisor, Professor Martin Main, and also acknowledge Reef Futures for sponsoring me to being here today. This is a brief outline of what I'm going to share with you. My introduction, research goal, my research questions, the theoretical framework that I'm using, and some of the methods, and a brief of my preliminary results. Well, as all of us know, coral reef restoration is demanding now time because coral reefs are declining. This has been motivated many organizations to conduct active coral reef restoration. These organizations are using, as part of their strategies, engage communities. And I decided to focus on this as my research goal. My research goal is identify the strategies that these organizations are using to engage communities. I'm doing this by access community-based coral reef restoration programs. I'm doing it, and I have the pleasure to do my first study case on Belize at Laughlin Cay National Park. My second study case was Seaflower Biosphere Reserve in Colombia, my homeland. And the Florida Keys National Marine Sanctuary is my next one. And also, I want to do one in Puerto Rico at the Tres Palmas Marine Reserve in the future. My research questions are, what are the strategies used to engage communities in restoration programs? My second one are, who are the target audiences that the restoration programs are engaging? And what motivates community members to participate in coral reef restoration? And my fourth question is, what are the barriers that these communities are facing that they could be hinder their participation? I'm using a theoretical framework that was part of my master research. I conduct this with my advisors, Professor Alice Newton and Martin Letitia. It's based on the Ostrom framework on socio-ecological approach, but it's based and focused on coral reefs. I also use mixed methods approach, which is a combination of qualitative and quantitative data through the exploratory sequential method. That means I'm taking first qualitative data, that means interviews and participant observation, and based on those, I'm developing quantitative research instruments as surveys to get more quantitative data. I have the permit of the Interinstitutional Revision Board of University of Florida to conduct this research, and so do in Belize and Colombia. One of the methods that I'm using is participant observation. It consists on basically join the activities of these organizations and learn what are they doing. In each of the study cases, I am doing 20 in-depth interviews focused on restoration practitioners and also key stakeholders. My stakeholders are professors, politicians, researchers, environmental educators, fishers, and dive operators. I'm also conducting a SWOT analysis about the programs, and currently I'm transcribing, translating, coding, and analyzing this data. And my next step is to develop the surveys. Well, the program in the Seaflower Biosphere Reserve is focused on trained fishers as restoration technicians. They are accompanied by biologists. And these programs are funded mainly by the Environmental Ministry, and the program started in 2017. Also, this program has been funded by Conservation International, and the organizations that are running these programs are basically three: Corales de Paz, Coralina, and Blue Indigo Foundation. On the Laughlin Cay, they are certifying tour guides and fishers as restoration technicians. And they are one of the only organizations in the Caribbean that are certified in this, the technicians. These programs are funded mainly by grants and donations, and the program started in 2006, and there is just one organization doing restoration in this area, which is Fragments of Hope. I'm analyzing the interviews with a software for social science research called MassQDA. I'm transcribing them, the ones that are in Spanish, I translate them, de-identify them, and code them. My code system is composed by 21 codes, and so far I managed to analyze 4 interviews between Belize and Colombia. And I have so far 1,784 code segments. For those ones who are not familiar with social science, when you analyze the interview, each part of the interview that belongs to a category, you name this as a code. Then, like, my main code is strategies to engage. And you can see that is the one that has, like, it has been more mentioned during my interviews. I'm using this code to answer my first research question: what are the strategies used to engage communities in restoration programs? From these 131 segment codes for strategies to engage, I divide that on 21 subcategories, and these are the most common ones, the 12 most common ones. One of the strategies is the main strategy that people, and both restoration practitioners and stakeholders are mentioned, are install local capacity. The interview believed that activities should be carried out by locals, and they highlight the importance of formal certifications for the restoration technicians and the trainer strategies. The pictures that you're seeing now are part of my interviews, but are not related with the comments and the quotes that I'm sharing with you today, because as I explained, all the data is de-identified. And I decided to bring to you this quote. One of the practitioners mentioned, they like more when the talks are given by locals. When an outsider came, the conception is, who are you to come in here and tell us about what we should do or not do? So when there is someone from the community, it's much more powerful than an external foreigner. The second most common strategy is invite and teach face-to-face. The interview mentioned that face-to-face engagement strategies is more effective than other forms of communication. And the quote that I bring for you today is like, with social media, you reach more people, but it's not the same as to face-to-face engagement. You know it's better to get the feel of your community. When you are involved with the people, you can get their expressions and truly understand how they feel. The third most common strategy mentioned was visit schools and take students on field trips. The interview considered that engaging and inspiring youth is an effective strategy for both educating parents and generations to conserve corals. And one of the quotes that I select is, after the field trip, the kid is so excited, and because the parents love their kid, they're going to listen more to their kid than they will to us, because they think that we are just trying to impose our way on them. And the last strategy that I want to share with you today is the fourth one, and they mention that dynamic and practical ways to engage. The interview highlighted that experiential learning as an effective way of reaching both children and adults. And the examples that they mention for doing this is underwater photography courses, diving courses, puzzles, drawing contests, and field trips. And the quote that I bring for you today for this particular strategy is, I'm going to tell sincerely, when I joined the program, I was in environmental education, and that talk they gave to the children was almost boring. They repeated the same thing, they not do it didactic, so I think it's a mistake. When you want to address young people and children, you have to do it in a way that is fun. Okay, some of the take-home message from my research. If you guys want to do a successful community program, you should install local capacity, formally certify restoration technicians, use train-the-trainer strategies, formally recognize the trainers, engage face-to-face, educate youth, and use experiential learning. And some of the main take-home message that I can have from my research so far is the successful strategies mentioned by both stakeholders and restoration practitioners are based on building trusting relationships between programs, communities, and practitioners. The next step of my research, well, as I'm going to construct the surveys and also conduct the study cases in the Florida case and Puerto Rico. And my final goal with this research is to construct a community engagement guidelines model to maximize community engagement in coral reef restoration and conservation. If you want to participate in my research, welcome to participate, especially the folks here in the Keys and in Puerto Rico. I want to acknowledge to my committee. They are an interdisciplinary committee, and they are providing me knowledge and support on different areas of my research. And my funding, and also the organizations that has been collaborating with me. I'm also running a communication campaign from my research, and it's available on this social media accounts. Thank you very much.